Hi everyone, thanks for joining today's wellness session. Today I'm going to be continuing our conversation about empathy. In our last session we talked about what empathy is and how it benefits our health and overall well-being. So if you didn't catch that session, watch that one before you watch this one, because today we're going to be talking about some tips for practicing empathy. Fortunately, empathy is a skill that can be learned and strengthened. So today I'm going to be talking about some things that you can do to practice or strengthen those skills related to empathy. So the first one is work on listening to people without interrupting. Another is pay attention to body language and nonverbal signals or any nonverbal communication. Try to understand people even when you don't agree with them. Just try to understand their perspective. Ask people questions to learn more about them and their lives. Imagine yourself in another person's shoes, so try to put yourself in their position. Strengthen your connection with other people so that you can better understand how they feel. Seek to identify your internal biases that you may have and how they affect your empathy for others. Look for ways in which you are similar and versus focusing on differences. Be willing to be vulnerable, opening up about how you feel. Engage in new experiences. Get involved in organizations that push for social change. Put aside judgment. Take a pause, and rather than express conclusions about a situation based on what you see, take a step back and consider a different perspective. And lastly, communicate that you understand. So instead of giving advice, say, I hear you, or I see you, or it sounds like you, and then summarize what the person has said. And that communicates to the person that you understand and that you care. So now that I've given you some tips to practice empathy, I would like to also share some things that you can do together as a family to connect with the heart and celebrate differences and practice empathy together. So the first strategy or idea is to celebrate differences. So as a family, get together and write down list of favorite things. So each family member write down their favorite things. And then after you are done, get together and notice the things that are similar and notice the things that are just totally different from each other. And that's one way that you can come together and just recognize and celebrate your differences and how they think about how they impact you as a family. Because everybody in the family brings something good to the table, and so just talk about and recognize, appreciate, and acknowledge those differences that you all bring to the table. And the second thing that you could do as a family is to schedule a time to develop a social contract. So how you can do that is you come together and everybody says how they would like to be treated. So everybody gets input on how they want to be treated, whether it maybe sounds something like with respect or kindness, or maybe they want to feel valued or acknowledged, appreciated, words like that. So you want to ask and answer those questions, allowing each family member to provide their input. And then also the second question to ask is how do you want to be treated when there's conflict? Because in any relationship, there's going to be some kind of disagreements or some kind of conflict's going to arise at some point, how do we want to treat each other in those instances? And then again, you want to record those words, how you will agree to treat each other in all of those situations. And then when you have a list of compiled of how you as a family agree to treat each other, then you all sign it. And then from there, you hold each other accountable whenever you see somebody, whenever one of you is not demonstrating behavior that's in line with how you've agreed to treat each other, then you check them and hold them accountable so that you can treat each other the way that y'all have agreed to treat each other. And then the third thing is to be the light. So as a family, maybe come together and think of someone who maybe has not been affirmed lately, or who does not, who maybe doesn't receive kind messages from other people, and write them a kind note. So it could be somebody that is in need of an affirmation, or maybe someone who has provided some kind of service. So that could even be something like leaving a note for the mail carrier or something like that. So just as a family, come together and come up with a list of 3 to 5 people who you can thank for their service, or let them know what they mean to you. I hope you found this information useful. For more information, please refer to the links in the description of this video. Thank you for joining today's session, and I hope you'll stay tuned for our upcoming sessions.